just got to ask you, what cook degree are you going to cook the pigeon to?
I'm going to cook it pink.
You're going to cook it pink?
Yeah. Normally, I would always cook pigeon on the bone, carve it off the bone to order.
So you're not cooking it on the bones then?
No.
Right.
Which I know is a gamble, but I feel I couldn't do it otherwise.
Pigeon, sort of medium rare. For the people's banquet, that's quite a tricky thing to do.
Oh, damn.
You know, the next sort of 10-15 minutes will be a testing time as she gets her pigeon all stickied up. At the moment, it's just seeing where Stephanie ends up, really.
This course for me is one of the least challenging courses, to be honest. As long as I get the flavours of the relish good and cook the pigeon perfectly, that's the challenge.
Steph's love of food started at an early age, helping prepare meals for her father Colin and his farm workers at her childhood home in the Yorkshire Dales near Skipton. She quickly realised the sociable aspects of sharing food.
I think growing up on a farm really got me interested in food because there was so much of it around all the time, and you had meal times as a family all the time. And the guys helping you at hay time, or the silo workers, or you know, sometimes even the postman would come and sit down in the morning and have a bacon sandwich with us.
There's loads, aren't there?
Yeah, there's hundreds of them, isn't there?
And with so many people to feed, Steph would raid the natural larder on her doorstep and soon became an expert in foraging.
But there is a lot out there, you know, wood sorrel or wild garlic or sloes or rose hips or, you know, some of the things I'm actually going to use in my menu.
So it's her passion and willingness to experiment with different flavour combinations that she thinks will give her the edge over her competition.
With what I've got planned for the People's Banquet, my food will have the wow factor. I can't wait to get in there and get on with it, I really can't.
Now Steph's entering the critical phase of her prep. Her beetroot and burdock crisps are out of the dehydrator, and now she needs to cook her pigeon breasts. But Nigel and Andrew have their concerns.
So how long are you going to give the pigeons?
I'm going to give them about 4 or 5 minutes to cook.
Right.
I'm going to rip the skins off and then just put the sticky glaze on and then serve.
So if you're doing that for 100 people, Steph?
Yeah. If I'm doing it for 100 people, possibly I would take the skin off before, actually. Yeah, I would.
And you probably
In fact, I'll do it right now, Chef. Actually, I wish I'd done this before now.
Right. We'll see you around there later.
Okay.
Has Steph's lack of forethought on how to prepare her pigeon for 100 guests shown up her inexperience to Nigel?
She has to convince me that she could deliver that for 100 people. Just not sure, really.
3 fantastic chefs in the kitchen, 3 very different starters. But which will be the most mouth-watering platter to share at the People's Banquet? Will it be Andrew's salmagundi, his colourful arrangement of cold meats and vegetables? Tim's homely and nostalgic potted venison, served with fennel salad, piccalilli and croutons? Or Stephanie's eye-catching sticky pigeon with forager's relish and beetroot crisps? All 3 chefs are confident in their choice of starter, but the scoring is down to Nigel and he's no pushover.
The pressure is enormous. All you have to do is deliver.
Andrew will be the first to present his starter to Nigel. With so little actual cooking involved in his dish, he remains calm and composed as he adds the finishing touches. But will Nigel think it's the perfect food to share?
There we go, sir. Feast for the eyes.
Andrew.
Salmagundi of North Country produce.
And there's certainly plenty of it.
Exactly.
And how would you like me to place that onto
Again,
the
it's
plates?
finger food. I mean, if you need to have a plate, you can do. You know, you can pick up your little Humpty Dumpty there for your egg mayo, the hams. The beauty of this dish, you can pick and choose.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Nigel and Andrew will taste the salmagundi in private, giving Stephanie and Tim an opportunity to size up their competition.
Wow. What do you think of that, Chef?
It's colourful, isn't it?
Very colourful.
So Andrew, the first dish,
Yeah.
you happy with it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a platter, it looks the spectacle, you know, it'll fit the bill. And that's the idea. So nice relaxed start to my menu.
Has it got the wow factor for the people's banquet?
Don't know.
The beetroot is just blanched or just dressed?
Yeah, it's blanched because I'm not really into raw beetroot. I'm not a big one into that, so just to cook it for about 5 minutes and peel it down.
Is it raw? It's a big piece of beetroot to have raw, is that too?
So do you think you've put enough work into the dish with it being for such a special occasion?
I've tried to design something which has got a bit more of that sort of village fêty sort of feel to it as well, if you like, you know. So that's the idea. So there's something on the plate or the platter for everybody, basically, you know.
Yeah.
A bit of fun with the old Humpty Dumpty here.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
I like
What
that.
happened to Humpty Dumpty?
Well, yeah, he had a great fall.
I was pleased with the dish, and I think Nigel enjoyed the taste, the different flavours. It's quite diverse flavours and combinations, so I think, you know, it's food for thought.
Andrew may be pleased with his starter, but Nigel will reveal nothing until he's tried all 3 dishes. And Tim will be the next chef to face him. He pots his venison, then bakes his croutons.
Going to be on time?
I hope so. I hope so, yeah.
It looks nice from here. What's in the little pot?
Nothing yet.
A pot of nothing. Sounds good.
Having been judged by Nigel last year, he knows how tough he is when it comes to scoring.
What have we got?
Potted venison. Old-fashioned piccalilli.
How would you like me to plate that up, Tim?
How I envisaged this was potted meat onto the crouton, spoonful of piccalilli.
You're happy with that?
Yeah,
Shall we get stuck in?
let's do that.
Come on then.
Will Tim's potted venison with piccalilli and croutons pass the taste test?
Tell me what you've really concentrated on.
I've really concentrated on the venison. It's not too overpowering, and then you've got a sort of sweet sharpness to the old-fashioned piccalilli.
So what do you think, Andrew? Good sharing dish?
It's quite sort of basic, if you like, you know.
Yeah.
But
Homely, isn't it?
Exactly, comfort food, you know.
Yeah.
It's obviously, in your eyes, very interactive. Right to be put in the middle of the table and everybody
Absolutely.
getting stuck in.
Absolutely.
Do you think this dish is a contender?
I think it's nice to eat. I'm not sure if it's a feast for the eyes, you know. I'm not sure if it's that sort of special for, you know, celebratory lunch.
I don't think it's too overcomplicated. I think people will know what it is when it goes, hopefully if it goes to the people's banquet. And it's that spoon in the pot, knife in the pot and dig in. Nigel never gives anything away. He does not give anything away at all. It was the same last year. You think you've done really well, and he hits you with a score. Not looking forward to that.
Okay, so you've tasted this one, you've tasted
Yeah.
mine. What's the scores on the door so far, do you think?
Andrew, if I'm being honest, on this course, I would rather eat this one.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I better crack on, Russia.
Stephanie is last to the pass today. She spoons her forager's relish into a hollowed out apple, then glazes her pigeon breast before arranging everything on the platter.
Stephanie. Very visual, isn't it?
I think it looks, it says foraging, it says hedgerow, it says, you know, using the best of what you've got on your doorstep.
Okay. Shall we go and try? Off we go. Are you happy with what you've produced on the day? Do you think you've done it to the best of your ability?
I am happy. I think it's how I wanted it to be. I'm wishing I didn't leave the skin on, and
Right.
I hold my hand up there.
Pigeon though for 100 people, banquet.
It's going to be a bit of pressure on, I think.
It's a tough ask, is that?
It is indeed.
Tough ask.
Can you see it being served at the people's banquet?
Yes,
Tell me why.
it's fun, it's crispy, it's soft, it's sweet, it's sour. It's a bit of everything, really. And the conversation, oh, what's this, what's that? It's creating conversation.
Maybe a bit messy, maybe. We've got the chutney, you got that coming over.
Especially when you're slicing the pigeon as well, Andrew.
It's not really finger food that people can then be enjoying to share, like, you know, having a nibble of this, nibble of that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you happy that the flavours have come through as you would have wanted them to?
I think they do. I think they do.
I've never known people share a pigeon, to be quite honest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be tough. You're just desperate to do well. I think it went okay. I don't know.
Tasting's done. There's nothing the chefs can do now except wait for Nigel's verdict on which starter is the perfect plate to share at the People's Banquet.
It's like being at school. You've got to stand there, chest out, stomach in, and just waiting for that score. That's awful.
Very apprehensive. I've no idea. It's anybody's game.
If it's middle of the road, 6, maybe 7 will be great, But, we're all cooking from a level playing field, so may the best chef win.
Andrew, we're going to start with you. I thought the ham, and the salamis and the cheese were of good quality, and the presentation was very colourful. But on a negative side, I expected something more dynamic and perhaps more creative. Tim, I thought you produced a really good, solid dish. I didn't get the piccalilli. I felt it lacked depth and flavour, and I thought the bread was poor quality, so that reflected in your crouton. Stephanie, I thought you really rose to the challenge, and I thought your dish was visually exciting. I think you need to, in the salad, get some of that crunch in it rather than on top of it. And I think you need to carefully consider how you're going to do that pigeon without the skin for 100 covers. So Andrew, for your salmagundi of North Country Produce, you've got 4. Tim, for your potted venison with your watercress and fennel salad, I've given you a 6. And Stephanie, for your sticky pigeon breast, I've given you a 7. So I do think that we need to be looking at moving up a gear, and for the fish course I'm expecting an awful lot more. Thank you.
So Tim scored 6 points for his potted venison, Andrew is 2 points behind him on 4 for his salmagundi, and to her amazement, Steph has scored 7 for her sticky pigeon, putting her in the lead by 1 point.
Coming into the competition, I felt very much like the underdog, but I am absolutely delighted with that score. Really delighted.
I expected a bit more than a 6, to be quite honest. Croutons I need to work on a little bit. Maybe I should buy the bread in like Andrew did.
Getting 4 out of 10 is a bit too low. I'd be gutted to be sent home first.
Coming up tomorrow, there's everything to play for in the fish course.
Can't afford to relax. Those 2 guys, they want this next course to be theirs. This is where it starts to get tough.